So far, we've been focusing on Zoom meetings. And as we've seen, meetings are great when you need to have remote collaborative interaction with all the attendees, with everyone being able to appear on screen and speak to contribute to the meeting equally. But there may also be times when you want to host a Zoom event where there isn't an expectation or need for equal group participation. For example, if you need to lead a seminar or a training event for a large group of people, and you only want the presenter to be seen and heard. That's where Zoom's webinar feature comes into play. Webinars are an add-on feature of Zoom that you can activate for an additional cost. In your browser, you can go to zoom.us/webinar. And here you can read about webinars, or you can click Buy Now to see the cost of adding on this feature. The price is based on the number of people you'd like to be able to attend your webinars. So for the most part, the controls and features in a webinar are very similar to a regular Zoom meeting, but there are a few key differences. Now, there's actually a very good detailed table of differences you can check out by going to the Zoom Help Center at support.zoom.us. And here, just do a search for meeting and webinar comparison. And we'll see this article pop up. So you can read through this for all the details, but I do want to point out some of the most important features between meetings and webinars. So for example, you can see here in this first table that webinars are mostly suited for large events where you may be expecting 50 or more attendees, but where you don't need the attendees to interact with each other. In a webinar, only the host and people you specify as panelists can be seen and heard or share their screen. Attendees of the webinar can see and hear everything being shared by the presenters, but are themselves muted by default with their cameras off, and they don't have the ability to turn either of them on. Attendees do have access to the Q&A area where they can type questions, and they can use the chat area just like in a regular meeting. They can answer polls that the host puts on screen, and they have access to the raise hand button that we saw in regular meetings. Now, the host does have the option to turn on attendees' microphones, but again, the attendees can't do it by themselves. So webinars are ideal for when you don't want the presenter to be interrupted by anyone. Again, you can read through all the differences in this article, but if you find you're often hosting Zoom events that are more of a lecture or presentation style than an interactive meeting, you'll most likely want to explore the option of using the webinar add-on. And we'll take a look at how to set up a webinar next.